So if you're here, I hope you've seen the past video on describing what a Renaissance man actually is and why it's a worthy goal to pursue. And in this next, 4 videos, it'll be really getting into the grit of each aspect, because I was thinking to do all 4 of them in one video, but I think each one deserves its own. Really how to take that aspect and do well and perform well within it so that you can use that as a plan for your wider life and grow up from there. And this is about the mind and how we can and should develop the mind in order to just live a more meaningful life and grow in all ways. And really I start with the mind because it's probably one of the most important things in self-improvement as a whole, in achieving that ideal of the Renaissance man. You only need to look at Da Vinci and Copernicus. They devoted their whole life to study, and not just of one thing, but of everything. They were hungry for wisdom, for understanding the world. And we need to answer why even develop our mind in the first place. Okay, well, what do we need to achieve our goals, our aims? Well, first we need to set some aims, and those aims are based on our values. And hopefully we set them based on values that are meaningful and not expedient, and we have some sort of long-term value we can draw from them. So that's the first thing. We need to establish good aims that are worth it. And second, you need action. You need to actually get off your ass and do something about it, because it's tough, yes, but you can't achieve your goals if you don't do anything. Simple as. And then where mind comes in, where developing the mind comes in, is actually finding the how in that. How do you achieve these goals? How do you approach this aim? How do you approach the challenges? What's the knowledge you need to build an efficient and effective foundation for achieving those aims in the first place? And that's really what we're doing when we're trying to increase our understanding. And so how do we approach that? Well, we read books, we read articles, we read blogs from good content creators. We read stuff from people who have walked the walk, and then they can give us their insight and their experience. We learn from the mistakes of others. That's what history has been doing in the past, ever since man started writing. It's been carrying on the reflection of the human condition and passing on the knowledge, what we learned, new insights, and we just keep building on that. And it's a shame to lose that in the modern day, because really the mistakes have been done for us. Why should we suffer when people have suffered in the past for us so we can learn from it? And it's exactly for that we read about everything. And it's important here not to limit your scope, because some people think, okay, well, I should develop my mind and become sort of smart in some areas, but then they confine themselves to just one very hyper small niche, and it's very tight. But I'm actually calling that we expand our scope to everything. Of course, we can have our favorite topics and subjects and things we can be experts on, but if you put your mind to it, you can really learn anything you want to do. And if you learn the skills and the theory in a lot of different subjects and matters, say personal finance, maths even, fitness, you can use all this knowledge and understanding, and then it will shine light on everything else. So it's like an exponential growth. You learn one thing and it helps you learn 20 other things way faster than before, and it helps you do them more effectively, and so on. It's really just a constant acceleration of knowledge and wisdom, and you only really feel that once you start, and you think, gosh, how glad I am that I learned this skill in the past that made my job in this area so much easier. For example, video editing. That's a skill that's extremely common nowadays, and if you learn that skill, it unlocks opportunities in pretty much every other field ever. Now you can edit videos, now you can share these other skills you have that are completely unrelated. And it's in that way that they interact and work together to really develop something unique and just much better than before. And that's really the essence of why we learn. We learn to seek to look within ourselves as humans. We learn to become better humans, better men, better women, better chefs, better engineers, whatever it may be. And I'm speaking generally here because it is general. It's not, there's no specifics here. But the point is, we should develop our wisdom and look broadly, so we can become well-rounded characters who have no gaps in our character. We want to be well-rounded for everyone around us and for ourselves. And well, how can you actually go about achieving that? Well, yes, you should get in the habit of reading more. It's really helpful. Set some time every morning or evening. Get comfortable, enjoy yourself, and just pick a book that you like and sit down with it for half an hour and just try. Because once you keep doing that, you'll get in the habit, and you might struggle at first if you've never read before, if you've never really had that habit, but eventually you should read what you want until you fall in love with the act of reading itself and the act of finding knowledge, and it will go up from there. And that's really the beauty of it. And of course there's articles, and really there's no excuses, because even if you say you don't have time to sit down with these things, then well, you have audiobooks, you have podcasts. I like to listen to podcasts, obviously carefully selected ones. I like to listen to podcasts while lifting, and you listen attentively and make notes on what is useful, and then I like to collect them in this sort of database of lessons, and I sort them, and then if you hear something that's valuable to you, you can implement it, and through that just passive learning, you can really make big changes, because you can hear something you would never have heard before, and it just sheds so much light on whatever it is you're listening about, and suddenly you have a new perspective, and it's really mind-blowing. Sometimes I listen to a podcast that's completely profound, and it just changes everything. It changes the way I think of it, and then you leave your workout session, just mind-blown. It's like, wow, I really just heard that. I need to sit with that for a second. And that's the beauty and joy, I hope, that you can find from cultivating your mind and digging deep into the endless hours of study that people have devoted their lives to, just to give to you and give you a new perspective on the world. It's really fantastic. So I'd love if you do that. And one other thing is, don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Don't be afraid to seek views and perspectives that go against what you traditionally think, because it's easy to trap yourself in a sphere of other people with your beliefs, and that's fine in a sense, but you should also seek to explore what sometimes attacks you. It feels like a personal attack, even though it's not. You shouldn't take it personally, but it's okay to find different political beliefs, different ways of looking at the world, and really, instead of using that as an excuse to fight it, to approach it reasonably, rationally, and use it to build your arguments up, build yourself up, change your mind even if you think about it like that. And you sort of imbue that in your character, that open-mindedness, the willingness to debate and to change. And that's in itself a very valuable skill, because you have the capacity to shed some of that pride, that stubbornness, and maybe say, yeah, I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong. And that's so powerful in this world, because it's a very opinionated world out there with the internet, with Twitter and all that, but to be able to listen to the other side and say, okay, maybe I will concede on this, that's powerful. And that will be really helpful for you in your life. And the final belief I want to or limiting belief rather, that should be out of your mind in this journey, is that you are limited. Because yes, sometimes we look at history, I look at history a lot and think, okay, how did someone like Da Vinci sit down for hours and hours a day studying all these things and become so proficient in them? How? It seems almost impossible. And of course we're in a different landscape nowadays with the war for attention from our phones and all that, but They did it, and that means we can. And we're actually in a better place. We have so much information that it's all overwhelming, and we're actually in the state that we have to not limit our information, but pick the right ones, because there's the right sources, because there's just so much information to choose from. We're suffering from success, basically. And the belief that you should keep in mind while doing all this is that you too can become like these men. You too can grow and study and use every opportunity available to you and cut out bad habits that keep you back, and you too can become this sort of thing, and it's so precious. So that's why, yeah, we should really start focusing on our mind, start getting a habit of reading, fill voids in your time with consuming valuable content and not like wasting it on scrolling. Really fill your time with learning, and you'll slowly start to fall in love with the process. I subscribe to Substack articles, good writers on there, and every time they appear in the email, some new writing, read it, make notes. It doesn't have to be long, and just through that process, you learn to love the act of learning itself, and it's just like a new light on you, some darkness unveiled from yourself, and it's so valuable. So that's why I advocate learning to love and learning to expand your mind in all perspectives, because it just will help your life. It will help you find meaning, it will help you achieve your goals, it will help you have more thought-provoking and interesting conversations with people, and it's just so valuable. So yeah.